As it often does.
So guys, welcome to Rage Against the Dice. This is part 2 of our How to Build Hill.
How to build hill?
How to build hill.
You see those hills?
I swear, you just... Alan's with us today, clearly.
Too much
as you can
caffeine.
hear. Yeah, too much caffeine's really taking its toll on him. And Parker's now dressed as Iron Man. He is here for this video. Parker, say hello.
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 There you go. He seems...
Is that me?
No, that's a hill. So, as you can see from the last video, we've got the hill. I did a little bit more work on it, added a few little bits.
I'm getting rid of all of this stuff out of this thing.
What Alan's doing now is he's making up our polyfiller mix. It's a full tube of instant filler. And then about the same in PVA, and I'm going to show you sort of the constitution.
Are you making a mess?
I'm not making a mess.
So yeah, as you can hear, they're having quite the intellectual debate. That's
sellotape.
It's not sellotape. Have you seen sellotape before? Sellotape doesn't come out of a tube.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
right. So as you can see, Alan's just finishing off now.
There we go.
Bosh, we've got, as I pass that here, we just use this. It's just instant filler. Normally I use the tubs, but for this, because it's got the exact kind of measurements I need, something like this, as you can see, I paid £1.40 from it, from like a... Not yet, we don't. Then what we're going to do is we're going to mix it up with PVA. The PVA is going to make it more spreadable. Also means if I want to mix some sand and stuff in with it, I can do so.
It's not sellotape.
It definitely is not sellotape. If you are making this at home, this
Don't
is
use sellotape.
Yeah, this is one thing I have to mention. We have been asked about it. We're not terrain making experts at all.
No.
Parker, calm down while we're talking. So yeah, we're not terrain making experts at all. This isn't what these videos are about. These are showing what anybody can do at home. Sort of, you know, there's guys out there, there's a lot of guys out there who make really, really good terrain videos. You know, terrain shooter.
That was my turn.
No, give me a second. I'm talking. So yeah, there's a load of different people who do loads of really, really good videos. Ours are very basic, and they're mean to be, because they're for anybody. Anybody who's getting into the hobby for the first time can make very basic hills.
Yeah.
I know you're going to, but I've got to do this bit first.
We'll do this bit first, and then you can have a turn at stirring.
Right, so you give it a stir now while I just talk to them about what we're doing. So, yeah, Alan's going to hold it. We are going to add a bit more PVA into it. And really, it's just the consistency that you're happy with.
As you say happy with, what... Because obviously you
basically what you're doing is
for different tasks, I imagine.
No, what this is really all about is it's going to add a bit of texture to the hill.
Yep.
And it's also going to seal it.
Right.
Because you remember when we were making the wrestling ring and I left some places purposefully not sealed?
Yeah.
So when I sprayed it with the aerosol, those bits would melt and it would look like ruins.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want that for this.
Yeah.
So if you coat the whole thing in this mixture, when you spray it, you won't have any bits that dissolve.
That melt.
Yeah, because especially if you're using polystyrene, not the foam board.
Yeah.
Polystyrene is notorious for it melting when it gets hit with an aerosol.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add the last little bit, and then.
Big star.
Right. So I'm going to show you how to paint it on first, because it's not just properly painted on.
What?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit, and then I'm going to time lapse it, because people seem to like that from the last one.
I love time lapsing.
You love time lapsing, and it means I can block out all the swearing from the bits I get wrong. So all you're doing is you're just slopping it everywhere to start with. In kind of just like
I'm sure there's a "that's what she said" joke in there somewhere.
I know, but he's a toddler. We shouldn't. So yeah, so
I hope he doesn't know.
Indeed. So I'm
referring.
just getting it all on. Your thickness isn't important or anything like that. All that is important is that you're covering up every bit of the stupid, bubbly, evil polystyrene.
Absolutely.
Any bits like this where you've got multiple rocks connected together, make sure that's extra sloppy, because all it's going to do is hold it all together more.
Yeah.
So it's basically making that like one big lump now. Instead, so what I'm going to do...
Don't hold anything just now.
...is I'm just going to get it all set up so Parker can do it while we time-lapse it. So we'll be back in a minute, guys. So now we've got the whole thing covered, as I'll show you. What we're going to do, just to add a little bit of effect, is we're just going to kind of stipple.
I like that word.
I know it's a good word. And all this is going to do is it's going to add some natural texture. What I do is once this dries, I then will do like a second coat, but on like the top areas like this, I'll sprinkle sand where I want it to be grassy. Because I know I could seal the sand in as it is. I could like PVA the top and put sand on. But because this is going to dry hard anyway, and there's going to be like its shell, putting the sand in with that means it's less likely to flake off when you're gaming with it. So what we're going to do now is, as I said, we're going to stipple around this. I'm not going to show you that because it's just stippling. It's just basically stabbing it. You imagine it's a lady of the night and you just thrust your knife/brush. Plus Parker's kicking off because he couldn't find a brush. And we've got another set bit of terrain that we might as well use the rest of this
Absolutely
on.
yeah.
So we'll be back in a minute anyway. And then we'll show you it as it is, and then it needs to dry, and we're going to go off and do other nerdy based stuff while they dry.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, now we've got it to this stage.
You haven't just recorded that last comment, have you?
No, I didn't. I will completely not pass on your comments about what you think about Rastafarians.
They just need to tone it down about 10%. 10% less Rastafarian.
Well, you've said it again anyway, so that's fine. So, yeah, we also had enough to cover this virtually. So now I'm going to show you, as I was saying, you can use your hands, you can use a little...
Round 2, much like in life, doesn't always produce exactly the same quantity.
So I'm just sprinkling a bit on, and it's just going to seal it. I will add more later if it needs it, but it's quite sparse because it's just to add a little bit of sort of texture, because this is groundwork, so you want this to be what would appropriately be soil and such.
Okay.
Is that picking it up?
Yes, it is. I'll just reposition slightly.
So as I said, it actually works better with your hand.
Okay.
But you know what I'm like for dirt and stuff like that, so I'm not the most comfortable with that kind of thing.
No.
So I made a little ledge there, just for the sake of it. You know what I mean.
That tiny little ledge there.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
I know, it's just big enough to fit a Bilbo Baggins on. Bilbo approved.
Of course.
So yeah, as you can see, in places where people are going to walk and stuff, so like these ridgy bits and bits there, I'll put less.
Yeah.
So it's like a well-worn path.
Of course.
And then the rest, I'm just putting really tiny, fine sprinkles, and that's just to give a little bit of texture when dry brushing, which is obviously how we will paint it. This part of the video, there's not going to be much more than this, because we will have to wait for all this to dry. And we've had a lot of positive feedback on these videos being smaller.
We have had.
Have had, indeed. Have it a had? Have it a had?
Okay. Indeed.
I don't think they're real people English. And on this one, I'm just covering the whole thing, because this is just going to be rocky outcrops. It's basically just a bit of sort of scatter terrain on a bit of board. Yeah. Just to... Basically, you could put the two mountains with that in between it, or the two hills, and you've got yourself like a decent bit of board, where it's going to all be kind of in keeping and fitting. And with this, it doesn't matter so much, because you want odd shapes and it's kind of wrecked and ruined. It doesn't actually matter if bits of this melt when I spray it. I still don't want it to happen a lot.
As long as it does, because you don't want it to melt too much.
Yeah, you want it to look like proper, like, corrosion.
Yeah, because I know when you did your video for the Rumbleslam stone ring, there was a little bit of more melting than
yes, there was more than I'd anticipated.
You did a very good job of salvaging it and making a good effect out of it, but yes, it was more than you would have liked.
Yes. Now what I'm doing here, I've got, this is not product placement. Power Force, whoever they are, do not make a range of really, really white window cleaning solution.
Do not use this on your windows.
Yes.
This will just be glue all over your windows.
This is deionized water, PVA glue, and it was a 50-50 mix of each. And then it's got a tiny bit of washing up liquid in to act as an agent.
Oh, right, okay, cool.
And it works quite well. And all we're going to do is give it a blast. The reason I use a bottle like this, I mean, you can buy them, obviously, but these, with being a window cleaning one, they're designed to spray as opposed to put out like a thick mist.
Right, yeah.
Like instead of it coming out as like a jet, it comes as like a mist. You'll see it when you've cleaned the glass and stuff like that, or you've used it on your windows, or Ben does. You know,
he doesn't clean windows.
One day he's going to watch these videos and he's going to realise he doesn't do any housework. But no.
I would hope he notices that before having to watch this video.
I don't think he does.
He's never going to watch these videos anyway.
Yeah, it's true. I make a lot of references to Kaylee not watching it, but I think one day she's going to actually watch it just to see if we're saying stuff about it. Then she'll realise that I told everyone she has 11 toes on each foot. Good times. But yes, so use these bottles because they spray. You can buy them from most shops, garden centres and things like that, sell versions of them. But I already had the glass cleaner. Yeah. It ran out. I was only going to recycle the bottle anyway.
Yeah, it's to do with the bottle, not the product.
Yes, but window cleaning sprays work better because they've got the mist as opposed to the jet.
Yeah, because of the type of nozzle.
Yes, that's right. It's the nozzle. So as you can see, this is more coated in sand. It's got sand on the top.
Couldn't see your hands there in shot, so...
It's okay.
This one more, that one less.
That's the one. And I've coated the whole thing in just like a little sealant, which I've done as a watered down PVA mix. You can buy glue sealants, but again, we're showing you how you can do this with stuff you might have lying around or stuff you can appropriate easily. Easy, Tiger. But no. You shouldn't be here for videos. You make me weird.
Really? I'm pretty sure you're pretty damn weird even when I'm not around.
More so.
Exactly.
Because I don't have to act on my best behaviour. Tragically, it's my best behaviour. Normally I'm just flinging feces at the wall.
Oh my god.
You know why I have that sheet on one of my back walls? That's the feces sheet. Because Kaylee doesn't like it going on the furniture.
Quite rightfully so.
Yeah, she's good like that. So no, once we got to this stage, you would leave it to dry. I'm going to leave it to dry probably for overnight, maybe a bit longer, because I'm paranoid. It usually only actually takes about 2-3 hours at the most. But you know, I like to overcompensate in all walks of life. You missed the finger guns there, but I don't think it was appropriate. The message came across anyway. So yeah, that's all sorted now. We're going to leave this to dry, and in part 3 we'll come back and they'll already be sprayed black. What I'm going to do is I use just a cheap black primer. You can pick them up in most pound shops, Wilkinson's, places like that. So it's just a cheap black car primer and then a grey car primer. So I'll spray the yeah, teens. I've never ever got away with that before. I think I will now. But spray the whole thing black.
Yep.
And then I will sort of dust the grey. So I'll spray from a height at an angle. So it sprays the whole thing, but so that the black still shows through.
Explain what you're trying to say, because you're doing a lot of hand gestures, and I don't know whether that comes across in what you're saying.
It's the hand gestures are just the way I talk.
They are.
Concentrate on them. They don't.
I'm trying to, but you're trying to describe things with actions, and I'm like, well, it doesn't really work audio-wise.
Oh no, it's what the people like. It's what they want. But no,
they like the vagueness.
Yes, vagueness.
The mystery. I wonder what he was describing.
Yeah, vagueness is their jam. But no, I'm going to leave it here for now. Part 3, as I said. Spray it black before the part 3. When we come back for part 3, we'll start painting it. Okay. And it's all just basic dry brushes, and then I'll show you how I do like the grass and textures, because that's a couple of different static grasses and flocks and things like that. But again, we're trying to keep it basic. So, as always, pray the dice gods smile upon you, and Alan, say goodbye.
Bye.